Today's story is about a Sasquatch event in South Dakota, in the Black Hills of South Dakota. For storytelling purposes, I'll just say that this story was told to me by two people that they claimed it happened to them in the Black Hills of South Dakota in the USA. And for storytelling purposes, I will not use their real names. I will call one of the people Bill, and the other one I will call Ted. And for purposes of storytelling, because I do a lot of visualizations for the brain cognition, for use of the brain, as we use our muscles every day in the gym, it's also important to use our visualization and mental, psychic and mental and brain abilities, keeping the brain active. So, for purpose of storytelling, I will put the character Ted in first person. So therefore you will listen to this through the eyes of Ted and his experience. So this happened apparently quite recently in the South Dakota, in the Black Hills, which is a picture of it you can see here. But my videos that I make in this channel are not visual. They're to be listened audibly. So these are audios, so where you can just listen to these stories and you don't have to look at any pictures. You can make your own pictures in your brain and use your own imagination. And by me not providing you with pictures, you're then forced to develop your imaginational faculties of picture assembly in your mind. So you can make their own pictures up in your mind. So it was one fine day that Bill and Ted decided to go camping in the Black Hills of South Dakota, which is under North Dakota. They'd have been hiking and sweating and perspiring for some time. And I remember now that you are Ted. So you were walking through the thick forests with Bill, your friend, and Bill was just pushing away the green pines of the pine trees, and you decided to stop, and you had a water filter, a high quality cheap water filter. So you got some water you got your cap, and you found a puddle, and it was quite clear, this puddle, clear water in the puddle. So in a rock pool puddle, not a muddy puddle. So you decided just to pick some water up in his cap, and you watched as your friend just picked some water up in your cap, and the cap filtered the water and into the water filter system, and that cleans the water, and you can just have a good drink. And you decided to gather some pine needles, because they're just vitamin C basically. You just add boiling water to them and you've got a vitamin C drink there. So you did that, and because you had on your backpack, you're carrying a backpack, you're Ted and you're carrying a backpack. You've been carrying it quite for a long time, but it's not heavy because you're used to heavy weights in the gym. So this backpack feels quite light, even though it's a good, I'd say 15 kilograms maybe on the back. Quite a big backpack. In it you've got a hot water flask there. So you just sat with your friend Bill, and remember, this story is in first person. I could say that Bill and Ted sat together, but for this purpose of the story, you'll listen to this story in the shoes of Ted, because it's always good to put ourselves in other people's shoes. Not in the Ukrainian people's shoes. No, today you're in Ted's shoes. And according to Ted, this actually happened. whether you believe it or not. Let's develop that imagination of mental pictures. So as you and Bill, at that point, you were sat down on some rocks, and you got your hot water out of your flask, and you added some pine leaves to it. You just dropped them into your hot water. You made a tea, and you were sipping it, quite hot. And the sun was pouring down with pulsing rays of warmth. You can really feel that warmth on your back. Really feel the heat and the warmth of the sun really warming up your back. Because there was some space between the canopies to let the sun through in this clearing where you sat. And at that time you were chatting away to Bill and just admiring and giving appreciation for the calmness and the greenery and the tranquility and the rest of nature. And you feel very rest, very serene. And at that point, Bill said to you, "Did you hear that? I thought it was someone knocking on wood. Sounded like someone was taking a baseball bat and just hitting a tree at some distance." And what did you think when your friend said that to you? Because you're in the middle of nowhere, in the daytime, in this forest, the Black Hills forest. You must remember, in America and certain places, a lot of the countryside is just millions of trees. All different height trees. Some trees even 80 foot tall plus. And there's all caverns and secret passageways and things. So you hear it time, you make a remark to your friend Bill, saying you think you heard something. Anyway, it's quite hot, and you decide to carry on with your walk. So you put your backpack on again, you feel that straps going over your shoulder, you got your boots on, and off you walk again. You can feel down on your face. You can see sometimes when you close your eyelids, when you look towards the sun's so warm this day that you can see the pinkness of your eyelids, as you can almost see through your own eyelids, because the sun's so warm on them. And you can see your boots as you're hiking along, effortlessly, striding, because your stamina is quite excellent. Your body is very healthy, excellent. And you can feel the ground and the terrain of the ground, the bumpy and uneven ground, the different textures of the ground beneath your feet, beneath your walking boots. And Ted just seems to stride off several paces in front of you, and he's picked up a quite long, quite straight stick to use to hike with, to help him hike along there. And this is a time of year when it's very warm. And now for the first time you're hearing these songbirds. But you'll have to play the tune of the songbirds in your mind, because we're using the powers of the mind here. This story is mainly to develop your mental faculties and your visualization skills. So you look up and you come to a ridge where you can see down into a valley. You're on a rocky ridge and you can see down to thousands and millions of pine trees below you. And now you and Bill have to make a decision. Do you work your way down the rocky ridge? And I suppose you can work your way down and get down into the forest below. Or do you take the long path or do you just camp there for the day? It's up to you. So there's A, B, C, any choice you want. And I forgot to mention that Bill has an Alsatian as a pet because he is also a policeman. He's your friend as well, but he's a policeman. And because he's trained, I should have mentioned this at the start, that you had an Alsatian with you. It's a friendly Alsatian dog, and it's actually because Bill, your friend Bill, is a policeman, and it's trained to attack, but it won't attack you or Bill because it sees you as the alpha male, as the dominant ones, according to its rank in dogness. So you're with this Alsatian, and you're not really bothered. It's got a leash. It's quite playful towards you. Its owner is Bill because it's a police dog. And you decide, and you look down off this white rocky rock, and you can see a slanting pathway. Well, not a real pathway, but you can see a way down to the next level of the valley of the pine trees below you. So one of you decides to slide down. So you and your friend and the dog start sliding down this white rock face very carefully, choosing a path that is most easy, that's not steep, that's some kind of incline that you can get down safely. And you can go in down almost on your bum, because it's not a sheer cliff, it's more like a slope, and you're just working your way down, and you're on your bum, and you can hear your shoes, you can see your boots skidding down as you just work your way down. And the dog is taking precaution as it works its way down as well. But it works its way down on all fours, where you're on your bum and hands, and you can see your feet in front of you, your boots, as you're just comfortably skidding down with cascades of sunlight on you, and the clouds are very sparse in the sky. Every now and then the cloud will go in front of the sun for a few seconds, but then it'll go away, the cloud, and you really feel all that warmth, real proper warmth you're feeling on you. Oof, it is warm. Oof, it is warm. And you work your way down. As you're looking down, you can see the path of least resistance, and you just manage to work your way down until you get to almost to the bottom. So you get to the level of the canopy, the tops of the pine trees. And you can have a good look now over the pine trees, and you see something like an object, maybe a hiker, in the thick of the trees. Maybe it's a bear, maybe it's, I don't know what it is. And you just see it glancingly. This is before you've got down, all the way down to the ground. And you see it in the distance, in the trees. But you don't see it clearly, because it's in the thick of the trees. It's just walking away from you. Just walking adjacent to you, more, not really away from you, more adjacent to you, not looking at you. It's like a big striding hiker, all dressed in one colour. Maybe like a man in a suit, or maybe like a bear or something. But you're American, so you're used to these things. You're used to the animal. You're used to the big game. Cabela's game hunter. You're used to the big game in America. You know what's there. You do have a rifle on you, because this is America. So you do carry armor and bullets, because you're born in the USA. So you decide do you decide to mention what you saw or what you think you saw to your friend Bill, or should you just not mention it at all? But the Alsatian does mention it. It starts to snarl. And Bill says, "What is it? What is it, boy?" to the Alsatian, to his police dog. Though he's off duty, he's still got his dog with him. The dog's more for safety than anything. Peace of mind, comfort. Because you don't know what could be out there. Moose, bears, maybe moose, maybe big deer, some massive deer. And you decide to forget it and just work your way down. And you see a way down, and then there's about a 2-meter drop to the floor. So you're there on a ledge, on the rocky ledge, and you can either drop down 2 meters onto the soft floor, the natural ground, or you can just hang down, or you can find another safer way down, or you can jump out like Rambo and grab onto a tree branch and then just lower yourself down. The option is yours. How you get down to the ground level, it's how you do it, it's up to you. In your mind, visualize your own feet and hands, seeing them, how you would get down. And the dog makes its own way down, even if it has to wander down a slope. And then the dog jumps down, and the dog's eyes light up as if it's onto the scent of something. And you've got down now. You can see your own hands, you can see your own boots, your own feet. You've got down unharmed. And, you know, everyone's fine. You get a text message from your mom saying, the family's doing fantastic. We're all well and safe and happy. You put your phone away, and now you realise that out here, that must have been an old text message, because out here, there's not much of a signal. But now you watch as Bill gets down to the ground level, and you hear him gently foot down as he lands on the balls of his feet and does a little jiu-jitsu roll and gets up. He gets his dog, and then you decide which way to go. And you decide to go in the direction of that thing you saw, because you're just a bit curious. So you decide to tell Bill, let's go this way. And you take the lead, because you are a leader, a commander, a leader, decisive, kind, charismatic leader. So, with your chest out, full of muscle, ribs, wide rib cage, out you go. You've got high cardiovascular capabilities. You're breathing so effortlessly from your heart as you breathe, and you can see you're walking under the trees now. You can feel the trees, the leaves of the trees brush against your shoulders and arms every now and then. You can see your boots as you're walking on the soft ground. Because the ground is soft and brownish, because there's been a lot of trees growing there. The ground does get soft underfoot. You can see your boots as you stride, each stride effortlessly. And each time you breathe, you're breathing from your heart, which makes your breathing makes when you breathe in, your ribs expand, widen to the sides, and you're breathing from your heart, and you're feeling compassion. You're feeling appreciation to be here with your friend, to be fearless, to be going forward fearlessly in adventure. You feel appreciation, you feel compassion. You have a nice facial expression on yourself. You do feel a bit like Rambo or someone. You've got all the equipment, you've got a compass, you've got a knife, you've got all these things. You've got a big backpack with all the works. You know, you feel very safe. You can smell the pine. Strong scent of pine and flowers. And the crispness and the coolness of the fresh air. How crisp is that air and cool breeze on your face. And a cool breeze passes on your face, but there's a waft of something in the air, maybe coming from that creature or from some kind of animal. It could be a deer downwind or somewhere. You're just picking up some kind of scent because you are the alpha male. You can pick up scents of different animals. You can even feel the hearts of different animals, their heartbeats, from a great distance. You can feel the electromagnetic pulse heartbeat in your mental capacity, because your mental powers are so strong, and you're so masculine and manly and non-reactive, that you can feel an animal's heartbeat rhythmically beating as yours is beating calmly and with rhythmically, full of appreciation. As you flare your nostrils, you can tell there's animals about even before you see them. Just because you just built up your psychic and mental instincts through years of visualizations and in-field expertise. You're like an alpha predator. You're free from desire and you push forward. And all of a sudden, Bill, you realize that you look round and you see that Bill is really having to hold the leash of his Alsatian very tightly, because his Alsatian wants to go off and find this animal. So you hear Bill, you look at Bill, and Bill's saying, "What is it, boy? What is it, boy? Go get it, go get it. What is it? Is it a deer? What is it? Go get it." So you see Bill running. Bill is running now with his Alsatian, because his Alsatian is pulling him, and he's not resisting. He's going forwards through the trees, because the Alsatian's onto a scent of an animal. Could be a deer, could be something. Who knows what animal it is? Could be anything. The Alsatian knows. You instinctively know in your sixth sense, your mental faculties, because you listen to your gut feelings and you feel good. And you know if you feel good, that things will be good, because you only expect good things to happen, and only good things happen. Anyway, you can see Bill's running off with his dog in front, and you have high cardiovascular capabilities. Even though you've got a backpack on, a rifle and a backpack, a big backpack and all these things, you decide to catch up to them, to the Alsatian and Bill, your friend. Because you decide, you see your feet going faster, but it's effortless as you casually run. You're not running, you're not sprinting, you're just doing it at a steady pace, just jogging on. For you, this is effortless, because you're used to jogging 20 miles without breaking a sweat. You're a superior athlete. You're a superior person. So this is nothing for you. So you can see your boots as they glide across the air, and you can see your knees, your thick, robust, muscular, sturdy knees. And you can feel the ground beneath your boots. It's all soft and it's all under the trees. And you're working your way. As you're running in between the trees, and you can see the tree trunks of the pine trees, and you can see how tall above you the pine trees are, and you can smell them. And as you run along, you can just push some branches out of the way and run through some smaller branches full of pine needles and such, all green. You can feel them as they brush against your body, but your body's full of muscle, robust enough, strong, healthy, dynamic, energetic. And your running is very easy. It's no effort. It's like a jog for you. And every leap you take, every stride forward you take, you're gliding further forwards through the air. And you're catching up now to the Alsatian, which is running at full speed. And you're just smiling. You're running in the direction of the Alsatian. And you look at the ground, and you see the ground passing beneath you as you run forwards so effortlessly, as you glide forwards. And you feel shards of sand breaking through the canopies. Here and there's dark patches and light patches, depending where the light falls. And you can feel the light falling on different areas of your clothes and body, and on the dog, Alsatian, as you're running, you're keeping up with this dog, really effortlessly. It's no effort for you. Your heart's even very slowly beating. As I said, you're a superior specimen. Your stamina is fantastic, phenomenal. You're breathing from your heart. And you look forwards, you're looking at the ground as you run, enjoying the experience, smiling. Your arms are moving as you run, obviously. You can feel them cutting through the air, cutting through the thick, clean, alpine crystal air. And you can feel the deepness and the crispness and the longevity of the air as it goes into your lungs. And you're an oxygen surplus. Your lactic acid, for some reason, is dissipating even whilst you're running. So you're finding it quite easy. Your joints are perfectly stable, secure. You're born free, you're running. And you look up as you're looking at the ground. You look up, you see the dog, and you look out further. You look far as you can see. And when you get there, you can see further. And you don't know what you don't know, but you know enough. And as you come through all these trees and pines, you have to jump over this thing. As you jump over it, you feel yourself propelled several meters forward through the air, because you are a superior athlete, as I've said. This is nothing for you. It's all a day's work. And Checks in the mail. So, and then you see something. You smell something strange through your big, clean, open nostrils. And the smell of this thing lingers on your defined, strong, masculine jawline. Something sour in the air. And you look forward and you see a creature. A big creature full of hair that looks like fur, but it's hair. It's like a person. But you're fearless. You're fearless. Because you're trained to go into fear. You were trained to go into fear, and there you will have no fear. Because you're brave, you're confident, you're suave, you're charming. You're the ideal man. And you see this creature, and you see the creature fears you. And you think you're going to tackle it. Why not? But you have a bit of caution because you're not stupid. You know, you and your family, they're not stupid. You're blessed. I am blessed. And Bill is behind you, and Bill thinks, oh my God, because Bill's seen this thing as well. And he's shouting at his dog. And now his Alsatian dog is chasing this big monkey thing. And this big monkey thing is full of muscle and big. Its legs are wide and stocky. Even at the knee joint, it's very wide and stocky. But it's a coward, this Sasquatch, and it's running away. And its arms are really long, down by its shins, and it's hobbling away. And its arms are swinging like a monkey as it tries to run away with long strides. And the Alsatian runs up to it from behind, and you're watching it all in slow motion because you're full of relaxing factor and all kinds of good chemicals. And did I mention before when you stopped to have a cup of pine needle tea that you had a few ounces of marijuana as well? So you got a bit high. So you don't care. You care, but not that much. You don't really care. You know you're a real man. You know that your body is strong and robust, and you go into fear. You go where the fear is, and there you feel no fear. There you feel content. There you feel rest. Rest. And the dog in the Alsatian is running. You can see it running at speed, and it leaps up at this creature's arm as this creature is trying to escape. Legendary creature. The Sasquatch is trying to escape. Maybe it's a man in a hairy suit. Who knows what it is? It's a bear walking on two legs. Maybe it's a Sasquatch. Who cares what it is? It's getting away. From its head to its toe, seems to be dressed all in black. Not a jet black, just some kind of matte black hair. And the Alsatian you see in slow motion as it leaps up, and this monkey thing as it's running away, he's swinging its arms, its long arms, very swinging, like a swinging monkey, like a swinger, like the Jungle Book or something. And you see in slow motion as the Alsatian leaps up and grabs the monkey's arm and latches onto its arm. And the monkey Sasquatch thing gives out a yelp, some kind of a cry, because the Alsatian's trying to tackle it down to the ground. But this thing's got really long arms. Its bones and its arms are very long, so its hands, when it stands up, its hands are nearby, below its knees. But it's still running, it's still trying to get away with its long strides and its big feet. And you can see the size of this thing's feet are massive. And then you realise this might not be a man in a suit. Normally, An alsatian would grab a man's arm and bring the man to the ground. This alsatian, you've seen it in slow motion. Slow motion, you've seen particles in the air glistening as the sun hits them. You've seen flowers give off their scents. You've seen the moving and the of the pine needles on the trees in the wind. You've seen the hair on this creature. And you know normally, if an alsatian grabs a man's arm, it'll bring him straight down to the ground. And you've seen this alsatian leap up, and it's latched onto this thing's arm, and the thing's still running. It hasn't brought this creature down. So if it is a man in a suit, that's some big man. You still remain fearless, because you know when you go towards fear, you no longer feel fear, and because you breathe from your heart, and you've made it a habit of breathing from your heart, that you always remain relaxed, full of relaxing factor and good chemicals. You're a superior creation. And this thing is hobbling away now with its long arms, dragging the alsatian with it. And it turns round, and with a massive hand, you can see its other hand from its other arm on a very long arm. And you're still moving forward because you're still going at some speed, some quick running speed, effortlessly. And you see it grab the alsatian with its other long arm and a big hand. And you can see these big fingers grabbing the alsatian by its neck and prizing the dog's mouth off its arm. And the dog yelps as if it's only a small dog. And you hear that yelp go right through you. And the hairs, which are see-through and tiny on the back of your neck, stand up. And even though it's a very hot day and you feel the real warmth of the sun on you, you feel cold, a shiver down your spine. You feel cold, though it's a very warm day. And you see the face of this creature. You can just make out all its teeth are flat. But you've got no fear of it, because you're the one who is doing the pursuing. It's the one that's running away. If anything, it should be fearful of you, because you're the dominant. And you see it grab the alsatian and just squeeze it and do something to it with its massively long arms, massive forearms. Its forearms are almost a half a meter long. Like a cartoon character, its forearms are massive. So wide. Its big hands just yank the dog, and the dog yelps. And it throws the dog a good few meters up in the sky. Throws it through the branches of pine trees. And for some reason, because you've got momentum, you're still running. But now you've seen its eyes, its deep dark eyes. As it turned around to throw the dog up in the sky, you made eye contact with it. And you can see how deep and dark its eyes are. Large and wide apart. And dark. Its nose is flat. Skin is dark. And you decide that this is a beautiful creature and you'll let it live. So you slow down, you're jogging, and this time you let it get away. Because this time you'll let it live. Thank you for listening to this picture visualization. I hope it increases your mental capacity for visualization.
Why didn't Joe tell you before all this? Why has he told you the last
So if you like this type of story, I'll make another one. Thank you and subscribe.